Ha ha ha. Choo choo choo. Hello, hello. This is Mr. Telex. Been having some fun watching the. Uh-oh, let's turn that off. Choo choo choo. Hello, hello. You gotta love audio loops. 1 second here. All right, we fixed that right away. Sorry about that, guys. Was watching the Scotch for Dummies have some fun down in Wichita, Kansas with the Scotch Test Dummies, and on location. Wish to God that I was able to go. I had to make a choice because I wanted to take a big whiskey trip this year. They had their Vine and Table usual meeting in October. Scotch for Dummies did. And of course, Scotch Test Dummies had their big 5-year anniversary, which was intriguing as hell, but I had to hold off because in New York, December 4th, it is on. It is on major. I'm going to have to try to use the phone on location, see if I can drum up some interviews and get some tastes in, hopefully some good ones. I did do the VIP deal, so hopefully I'll be able to get some high-end like Lafroig's, and I'm not sure if Ardbeg's going to be there, but other distilleries that I'm a big fan of, Isla, Campbelltown, Islands, Talisker would be awesome. I've never seen Talisker represented correctly at the expo before. I've been to a few of them, and that's one thing that's strange is you don't really see the islands well represented at these expos like Isla, and even you don't really see a lot of Springbank, Glen Scotia, Campbelltown kind of stuff either. It'd be interesting to see them more, up front. Good to see you, Daniel. Hey, dude. Good to see you, Cato. Guess I should quit too. Be right. Oh, quick. Yeah, everyone's got to have a quick break. That's understandable. I luckily had one when Bart was having his last interview. I was listening as I was going for my quick break around the corner here. So there you go. But got me a nice stash of water, and I figured they were having such a damn good time. I was like, what? Why not do a live show? What the hell? It's late. It's 12:30 my time, but I didn't plan on going to sleep till at least 2 or 3 in the morning anyway. So what the hell? We're gonna have a little fun. I've been warming up. We'll say warming up. I've been drinking some Kilkerran 12, good, great bottle, Glengyle Distillery. Excellent Campbelltown. Also been hitting a little Freud Lore on the side. Also excellent sherry influenced, really nicely peated whiskey. Has some 30-year stuff mixed in with some younger stuff to balance it out. Pretty well done. It's an NAS, but it's not shabby. Price points around 120 to 130. Can be found as low as 110 if you're lucky, and it's a good buy. It's equal to Ardbeg Airigh, I'd say, and which is a similar price point. Airigh might be a little cheaper to find, but both solid whiskeys, smoky, sherried, and peaty. So that's my wheelhouse, and I'm sticking with it. I figure we'll do something a little different tonight. We're gonna take a look at welcome back. Hey, good to see you, Keith. Thanks for hanging out with me, as well as Donner. Pardon the ignorance. Is that a big industry event you are going to? Yeah, I'm going to the Whiskey Expo is held by the Whiskey Advocate, the magazine. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Let me go pick one of these guys up real fast. 1 second. Hope I don't break a glass on the way. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Whiskey Advocate. It is a very well done magazine, very professional. They have these per city events, expos, we'll call them. I've been to one in DC. I've been to one in Indianapolis with the Scotch for Dummies. And this year I'm going to the one in New York City, which hopefully will be pretty nice. The Indianapolis one actually was better, I think, than the DC one as far as picks on what was available, and both I did the VIP thing with. I will be doing the VIP thing with this, which is not cheap. They usually try to charge you $300 to $350 on a entry on the VIP level, but it gets you access at 5:30 p.m. and it goes well into the night, at least past 8:30, 9 o'clock. And I can typically, if I, and it's good, it's smart to have some water after each, you rinse your glass out, you have a dram of water, you go to the next dram. You can still do a 32, I mean, small drams. They don't pour you like a whole full 1.5 ounces. They might pour you like a half ounce, but you could do 32 and span it out right. You eat, make sure you're hydrated. You can actually make it out and do a solid, good time, I'd say. Took my stepdad to one in Indianapolis. He had a great time, and went to DC with my friend Mr. Lee and Mr. Generously Paul. We had a great time. Paul got a little sick during the event, unfortunately, I think because something he ate. But still, he was able to come and have some really good whiskey. The star of that ball was probably the Highland Park, the Dark. Was really nice, really well done. $300 for a bottle. It's hard. I mean, I don't have a bottle myself yet. Maybe someday, but it's hard to shell out that kind of money on. But it is a 17-year whiskey. It is solid. It's very good. It's just once you get above $200 for a bottle of whiskey, man, it's really hard to justify that. It really is. I mean, the age does, demand a price to an extent, but it's liquid and it's to be enjoyed. It's not to be sold. It's not to be, just looked at. The bottle can be nice. I'm not afraid of having a pretty bottle, but the juice is what it's all about. That's just the bottom line, Hey, quick complete. Good to see you guys back. The Bunnahaven Fischl 2018 they were drinking sounds spectacular. Yes, it does. Other than being the Fischl 2018, do you know if that was the PX distillery only type bottle, or what the cask influence of that one, Cato? I'm just curious. I did hear that it was supposed to be pretty damn good. Oh, Steven, good to see you, my friend. I haven't forgot about you. I have your information, and I do need to send you something very soon. I have it sitting down here already ready to go. I just got to ship it out. I do have your Ardbeg Airigh Beist, and that we'll be doing that. I was going to do it tonight, but I wasn't sure if we're going to make it. I labeled this as Cardew 18, and a gift from my friend Roy, in also known as Aquavite, in over in Scotland. He got a hand-filled Lefroy cask. It's a cask sample from 2005, 50.6 ABV, hand drawn in 2018, but from 2005. Oh, Jesus. I mean, I'm not even sure where to begin with that guy. I got it sitting out, airing out a little bit before we even tackle that. Would you want me to do the Airigh Beist tonight, Stephen, or do you want me to wait and do that a different night? It's up to you. I don't mind replacing the Cardew. I did pour it. I've got a Cardew 18. I can pour that back in and hit the Airigh Beist. You also did the Amrut Bengal Tiger, which is interesting. Not quite usually something I would tackle, but I do love the Amrut Rye, and I appreciate what they do as a distillery. That sucker is very specific and very special too. It's a peated port pipe, one of only 480 bottles, 56.5. Jesus Christ. No offense, but that's pretty high. That's pretty hardcore, I have to say, for the ABV on that guy. But it's up to you. He says the Amrut is fantastic. Should I hold off on that, or do what I planned, or go to those, or should I go ahead and do the Cardew 18 and the Lefroy? It's your call, Stephen. I'm up for either way. I can wait, or I can do it now. It's up to you. I can always relabel the video after the fact if it needs to be done. So let me know when you get a chance. Let's see. Tomar saying you should try to attend a Whiskey Jubilee event. They have them across the country, around 300 bottles, and all you can eat kosher buffet. Wow, that sounds good. I'm not quite sure where I would go to go to one of those, but I have to look up Jubilee. I'm not sure if it's, I guess it's spelled that way because if it's kosher, it's probably from a Jewish influence thing. So I can definitely, I can be down with that. I have no issue with having some whiskey at any event. So that will be awesome. And I'll look that up and see if I can find something. I'm not sure if they have them in Maryland, but I would hope they would around DC or something around here. Put on by the Single Cask Nation. All right. I'll have to go back and take a look at that and see if I can find some notes. No, sorry, not sure of the cast. Maybe Art caught that info. Okay, that's all right, Cato. I appreciate you letting me know at least. Have not gotten into the price level yet, although for Craigellachie, I'm sorry, 23, 260 maybe someday. Yeah, let me look and see what the Craigellachie goes for. Out of curiosity, I've got a good stop at a local place, Scott. They had the 23 for $235.99. Your price was, where was that? $260. Ooh, that's a little higher, but you know, that's not terrible. I mean, it's but if I can get it for $235.99, you might want to do a little more homework and see if you can get a better price on it. And that's just in Maryland, my friend. We usually have higher prices to an extent, depending on the distillery. Cato says do the Ardbeg. Well, that's Steven's choice, man. I'll break out the Amrut Ardbeg also. Okay, well, I guess we'll change the event here. Sorry for the difference, but this is going to be a special deal. No offense to Aquavite, he's not here, and I would rather him be available for his own thing. So we're going to pour the Lefroy back into the old bottle here. No problem at all. Sometimes it's good to give it a little air anyway. You know, it won't be long. I will do this the next show. So, Roy, I really do still appreciate it. I just want to do this while Steven's here for his couple samples that he did. So, putting the Lefroy cans. I mean, he hand-filled this himself. I mean, it's funny. He has a really nice label on this. Very beautifully done. Aquavite's symbol. Check out his cask coins if you have a chance. I don't have any myself yet. I hope to get some someday if I get the time to do them. But he does have his own. He did a Lefroy hand sample, did his own label, number 97, 2005, 50.6, hand-drawn on the 2nd of June of 2018. And he even says, in his own words, it's not whiskey until it's shared. A gift to Telex from Aquavite. You can't get any freaking better than that. That's just beautiful. And I will return the favor sometime, Aquavite. I'll have to figure out, first off, what you can't get. I mean, you're in Scotland, so it's going to be hard to impress you with anything. I have a feeling. Maybe you like bourbon. Maybe I can find you a nice Kentucky bourbon or something that might be not too easy to find in Scotland. That's a possibility. I'm not a big bourbon head myself, but I am from Louisville originally, and I know people that just live and breathe bourbon on a daily basis. So maybe I could find you something if you're looking for something particular. So maybe we can go that route and see where we can go. Thanks, Tamar, for the email. I appreciate it. And about the event. And let's go ahead and get this Cardew 18 back in its little place if we can here. No problem. And it's kind of funny. I had a feeling that my experience with these two whiskeys is going to be a lot different than what it's going to be with the Cardew 18. Not to try to spoil anything for you guys. It's funny. I have had the Cardew 18 before. My good friend, generously Paul, gave me a blind testing, and I had to figure out from 5 whiskeys which one was a Scotch, which one was a non-Scotch, which one was above 12, which one was below 12, and which one was not a Scotch or whiskey at all. It was all over the place. It was one of the most crazy things. I've never done a blind tasting before, and I got 2 out of 5 in the middle. I made the mistake of changing my one of my good ones to a bad one at the end, where I only got 1, but solid. I had a feeling I had it right with the 2 out of 5, so that was not terrible. But the one he picked for over 12 was the Cardew 18, and it just wasn't very complex to me. It wasn't. it didn't have the age factor. And the funny thing was he picked a grain called a Scallywag bag, Douglas Lane. And that sucker tasted more aged than this guy did, which is the Cardew 18. So, I mean, it's all over the place. So let's just regroup here and see what we can do. So we got an Amrut Bengal Tiger, peated port pipe. Jeez. And the funny thing was, just last night, the other Thursday, I did the Lafroy Port Brodier, which is easier to find, pretty good, solid whiskey, very smoky though. And then did the Portwood 2013 Carriages, the best port of whiskey I've ever had. Now this is supposedly pretty damn good too. Nothing to sneeze at. We got one of 480 bottles. 56.5%. Not aged, but neither was the Lafroy Port, wood Carriages. So we're going to take a look at this one and see what we get. Very much appreciated, Stephen. I can't say enough praise for you to send these guys. Now, this is my unicorn bottle. Next to Lord of the Isles, the Ardbeg Airigh, I can't say it. Beist is the one of the best Ardbegs I've yet to ever try, from what I've heard. The alligators up there too, Galileo, Supernova. Those are like your unicorn whiskeys now. That's really hard to find. This one in particular is 1990. This one is an old beast. Shelter of the Beast is what Airigh Beist means. 46% ABV. I've been looking for this for ages. No joke. So we're going to take a look at this guy too. Wow. And the beautiful thing about it is I can tell there's no coloring in this at all. It's pure. If there is coloring in it, I would be extremely surprised for what it is. And we're going to cherish every drop we get out of that bottle. I made sure I tightened it really well, and it's I can't. I'm going to have to start with the Amrut because I just know how much I'm going off this beige out the front. But I'll probably still love the Amrut too, from what Steven's saying. So we'll have to see about that. Steven's correcting the sequence. What did he say about the sequence? Amrut, and yeah, Amrut first and then Beist after. Kato says trivia. There are 3 versions: 16-year-old, 17-year-old, and 18-year-old. Are you serious, Kato? There's really 3 versions of the Airigh Beist? That is crazy. I'm surprised. I thought there was just a one from 1990. Let me get a fresh browser window out here and do a little note check. Let's see. I usually use distiller.com as a good place to just get some basic notes off of things that I'm looking at. They do have this as well as other Ardbeg expressions to look at. The one they reviewed was from 1990 when the distillery, let's see, Ardbeg from the early 90s, like the Airigh Beist, is rare. The distillery was closed for almost the entire 80s, for the entire 80s. When it reopened in '89, it was only in production for 2 months a year, which is really sad, until it closed again in '97. Airigh Beist is a Scottish Gaelic for Shelter of the Beast, which we talked about. Sadly, this expression has been discontinued, and 46%. Cast type is oak, from what they've said. Supposedly, Kiddo's talking about bottles from different years. All distilled in 1990. Okay. Huh. I don't think he labeled this as being a certain year, but I have a feeling that this is probably from 1990. Stephen, if you have an idea if it's a different year or if it is 1990, let me know. I'm curious because he's talking about there's like 3 different versions of this: 16, 17, and 18. 18 being his personal favorite. Well, of course. Yeah, Swami, I'm up late. I figured, what the hell, might as well have a little fun with trying to get a couple of drams out. Scotch for Dummies, the Scotch Test Dummies were having way too much fun, and I thought, I gotta try something here. And but what I was going to do is the Cardew 18 and the Lefroy Canfield from Uncle Vite, but since Mr. Steven has arrived and was gracious enough to send me a couple really well done whiskeys, I'm thinking, well, oh, they're all from 1990. Okay, damn. Okay. Well, Stephen, if you have an idea, I'm not sure if there's an easy way to tell the back of the bottles, not the bottling year. Stephen, if you know which one it is, I'd really appreciate it if you let us know if you still have the bottle. I don't know if you do or not. If you don't, it's not a big problem at all. I'm just thankful to have any form of the Airigh Beist, because this is extremely hard to find. Swami's had the Supernova, you bastard. 2006, 7, and 8 for the Airigh Beist. I just got back from work. Wow, Swami, you work late, my friend. Well, hopefully you had a good day, and if you didn't, at least you get to have some whiskey with friends. So that's all. That's all good. I'm just going to call you DH. Says that he wished he didn't end up killing all his limited edition Ardbeg Supernova went down fast. Yeah, as you can tell, I've had my share. Thankfully, I still have a Grooves limited edition still open. I killed my committee release. I've got like one sample of Kelpie committee release left that I'm going to do a review on later on and some down the road. My Era Verdes is unopened, thankfully. I would like to review that at some point, but all the other ones are dead. They're all killed because I am a huge fan. This bottle in 2006. Okay, that's still fine. I was just curious. This is 16-year-old. I can't believe they did a 16, 17, 18. Man, that's just crazy that they have all this wide spectrum. Well, I think I've let it air out a bit, to give it some time. I can't remember what time we started, but it is almost 1 o'clock already, so we might as well get started, right? I think we'll start with the Amrut. This guy, the Bengal Tiger Peated Port Pipe. Let's see if there's anything special about that guy before we even begin, just to make sure we're not missing something. I guess we'll call it Bengal. It should come up. Okay, so we got Amrut Bengal Tiger single cast strength. That's got to be the one. Okay. Looks like it does do well. Ex-bourbon and ex-Pedro Jimenez sherry. Oh, yes. See, as soon as I see that, I'm like, I know I'm going to be in heaven, because I love my bourbon influence. I love my PX, my Pedro Jimenez sherry. Even if it's Oloroso, I still like it. If it's Fino, I'd still like it. If it's sherry and it's got some bourbon or peat or a combination of both, we should be in pretty good shape. Just the notes say the Bengal tiger is India's national animal, and unfortunately are also endangered. It's an endangered species, of course. The Bengal Tiger's single cask whiskey is just as scarce, with 540 bottles chosen exclusively for the Canadian market. Ooh. Well, hell, Swami, you might be able to get one of these on your own. Hopefully you get a chance to, if you don't already have one of these guys. I'm not sure what it runs price-wise. It looks like it runs $4 signs out of 5, which means it could be kind of pricey, 150 American dollars, I'm going to guess. I could be way off. Let me see if my local place even has this. They've got the Amrut Fusion, the intermediate sherry, the Cadhambam. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. The Ranji single malt, the Peated single malt, and single malt cast strength, and the 2 continent single malt. They don't have this Bengal Tiger one, unfortunately. So I don't know what the price point is, other than the $4 out of $5 sign. So I'm assuming that this is going to be at least 150 to 200, and it could be even more than that. But it's iffy. It's probably harder to find because it's just rare. That's my guess. It's 56.5. That's the interesting crazy thing about it. It's very high. Ooh, Tom's saying that there's a sample of the Kilhoman full matured PX cast tomorrow. I would love to have that. I've yet to have the PX version of the Kilhoman, and and Swami's full of shit. There's no way he only drinks vodka now. You're crazy, Swami. You're out of your mind. So no, nothing against vodka, but I like it too. But if I have a choice between vodka and Scotch, it's like Scotch is way up here. If it's affordable, that's the catch. But wow. Anyway, the Amrut color is really super dark. I don't know if there's any coloring going on here. It's possible, but it is port wine pipe. I don't think they would even have to color it even if they thought about it. I don't think they have to. I think it's probably natural. It's not out of the question to be that shade on a for the port influence. So I'm not gonna ding it or anything like that. And we'll see what we get here. Hopefully it holds up to the other port ones I've had recently. Tawny or port? Good question, Tom. It doesn't specifically state. Steven might be able to tell us. I just know that it was supposedly matured in ex-bourbon cask and finished in a PX sherry cask. It doesn't really say anything about if it was tawny or ruby or what type of port we're dealing with here. Steven says this is the USA only Bengal and aged in port pipe only, no PX, no color. Oh, okay. So this is a different offering than the one I'm looking at here that talks about it being PX. So that makes sense. Let me see if they have a. I don't even know if they've had the Amrut. I think the only Bengal they've had reviewed on Distiller is the version that is the PX and not the one that this is. So, well, let's see what we got. And just go with the flow here. Just looking to see if it holds up really well when you do a little swish. Doesn't run like crazy. Really nice nose. Not only do you get the deep fruits, the dark fruits from the ruby. I'm sorry, the port. You do get a little bit of it's not peated, but it seemed, well, I guess it is peated actually. It is peated port pipe. So I am getting the smoke. I was kind of thrown off because I'm thinking, well, was this peated or not? And because I do smell the smoke, and that was the reason I was kind of taken back for a second there. Nice, really well-rounded smoke. I get sweetness, some sugar, confection sugar, powdered sugar kind of deal going with the fruit. Blackberries and the blueberries and the like a black currant. It's nice. I love that color. And Stephen let us know that it wasn't a coloring issue. If you don't mind, let me know. What does this run, Stephen? I'm just curious for, if I want to try to get a bottle or one of our watchers wants to get themselves a bottle, if it's possible, what does it typically run? If you don't want to say I understand, it's no big deal. They can always look it up. Wine Searchers, wine-searcher.com is a good used website to find anywhere in the world of whiskey and what it usually runs. So 129, that's nice. And Stephen says that Total Wine has it for 109. Wow, that's a really good price if it's obtainable. Easy. Total Wine is like a national chain. I think they have some in Maryland, but I'm not sure if any Maryland places that carry Total Wine, if they have it. Not many still out there. I mean, yeah, 560 bottles. Yeah, I would say this would be a tough find. But you get lucky sometimes. I got lucky with the Springbank, the Burgundy, and the Green, and some other ones were very that Barolo, Hazelburn. Some of those one-offs of different runs, they'll bring back, but usually it takes a year or two. But Tulsa's just reading it and keeping the poker face going. Uh-oh, reading what? What am I reading? Oh, wow. Damn. It's at 56.8. I was like, 56.5. Where is that coming from? That pow flavor. I mean, a tsunami of flavor. But yes, there's a little burn, but it's not, harsh. It's actually pleasant and neat, surprisingly, for such a high ABV. Wow. And it's not just because I've had a few drams already tonight. It's wow. That is a rush of multiple flavors. It's got creaminess. It still has the smoke, and it's got boatloads of the medium to dark fruit, ranging from like a fruit salad with your raspberry, medium berry. Even has some beets in there. It's pretty balanced when it comes to sweet and savory. It's not overly either way. Really, that peat's really nice. Wow. If I lived in India, man, if it was hard to get Scotch, I'd be all over Amrut. That's how good that is. It's got some nice black pepper in there too, even. Really nice deep purple Concord grapes, black cherries, the currants. It's I'd say more of a heavier mouth coat than what um, most whiskeys would be, which is in my favor. I like a heavier mouth coat. Finish is nice and long because I think of the balance of that smoke and fruit. They put enough in there it's peated, but it's is it as good as the Lacarge's 2013 port would? Unfortunately, I don't think it's there. But is it as good as the Lafroig Brodier port matured, that port cask? I'd say it's on par with that, which is saying something because that's not a bad whiskey at all. Might not be a 5-star like the Portwood 2013, but I'd definitely give it at least 4, if not 4 or 5. I'd say 4.5 is there. The only thing that might help this in any way, other than like your basic, maybe more age, would be just a more of the floral or herbal influence to make more of a balance with the fruit, the spice, and the smoke, which is well done. It definitely is well done. It's complex, but the only thing it's not really dinging it. It's like this, the 0.5 difference from a 5 is that if it had a little bit more floral influence or if it had a little bit more of the herbal influence, I think it would bring it even more together and be equal to the Carriage's 2013 from Lafroig Portwood deal. Because that one had the floral notes to balance it out. But this, I would definitely not ever turn down for any reason at any time. It is glorious. It's solid. It's a great dram. It beats the shit out of the Kilchoman Port cask matured. I hate to say it because I love Kilchoman, and it beats the shit out of the Glendronach peated Portwood. It's not even close. This one's much better whiskey, I think, than those two. But so I think it's. definitely better than average portwood influenced whiskey. The fact that it's Indian makes it interesting. I'm surprised how well done the Amrut does with their ryes, with this, with other things that I've heard that they do really well with, and I can definitely see why people like it. Swami says, yes, I drowned in cranberry juice and complain about my husband cheating him. I'm scared to even know what he's talking about with that 20-year-old interns and cheating and whatnot. My goodness. There's some people that I think that know each other that are having their own little chat, which is fine. Average price is $129. We talked about that. I'm going down here. The 15 showed up in Chicago today for $89. What? Got a bottle and going to do a 12 versus 15 versus 18 tomorrow. How the hell do you find the 15 for 89, man? Damn, that's a good price, I think. Because the 65 pretty much here for the 12. Higher in Maryland than other places I've heard, but I bet the 15 probably here will probably go for 100. I'm thinking. Steven says he loves the finish. Yeah, this is glorious, man. This is insanely good. This is definitely, excuse me, definitely on par with the Lafroig Bordeaux, which is in itself is a great whiskey, peated port whiskey. This is hangs with it solid, no joke. It's really similar. So if you ever get a chance, Stephen, to try the Lafroig Bordeaux first or second batch, I don't think you'll be disappointed. It's as much easier to find also than the Port Carriages 2013. So let's look and see let's catch up with some comments here real fast. The Swami says, hope you like it. I have not heard good things. Richard Berry is a horrible master distiller. And I'm with Swami on that. Everyone is another guy that I hang with that has been extremely nervous with Rachel Berry's fingers being in the control. She used to be with Bowmore a while back. And I will attest, I mean, some Bowmores are okay. The Doris Moore, which is also the Tempest overseas, that series is good. The 15 darkest, the 18, it's not that they're bad, they're just so damn thin. I mean, the flavor is decent, but it's almost like you've taken a whiskey and diluted the shit out of it. I mean, I have to have at least a medium mouth coat. Those are thin mouth coat whiskeys. I just can't really get into them heavily. The flavors are decent, but just the juice just isn't there for me. So I'm with Swami and everyone doing that one. I hope to God that she doesn't destroy it. But I have heard that the new revival is different, but not bad. So I'm really curious to see what Tom thinks about it. I've heard mixed reviews. The people that swear by the old version, I think, are going to not like it if it doesn't meet their expectations, which I can certainly understand why they feel that way. Because if someone took, is just an example, the Ugadal, and if I was, had it like, a couple of years ago, and if I had it, if it wasn't as good, and if there was a change, especially with Mickey Heads left and something happened and someone else was had their hands in the ring, I'd be like, it's you. You are the issue because you're the change in all this. Mickey Heads has not, done wrong by anything that I can ever think of. I might not like the lemon lime flavor of the 10, but everything else I'm solid with. Even their NAS stuff, which, I'd always like an A statement. I don't want to pay $500 for it, but even their NAS stuff I can hang with. So, but if it changes, man, the older Jonathan John, that was wonderful, Tom. Yeah, Swami's reminiscing of the changes there. But Steven says he has got an Oh, it's got an opened 2013. That's on another level. Yeah, that's that. That was like, I think, my favorite port whiskey ever. But this is not far behind with the Brodeer. I think these two are solid as hell, better than, like I said, the Kilhoman and the Glentronics, which I would put about a 3 to 3.5. These are solid 4 to 4.5s, and the Curious 2013 I would give a 5 out of 5. Um, Easy. Somebody's selling Allardyce is better at 18. Yeah, I mean, the few years in the cast definitely helps. It's just the price difference is where Glentronic gets kind of tough, because they go from we'll say 90 for the 15. It's like 189 here in Maryland for the Allardyce, and 239 for the damn 21 Parliament. So yeah, it's do you want to pay that is my issue here in Maryland. Um, I know Travis. What's his last name? The Travis we always see Faircloth. I think he is right though. If you can get overseas, the price is much better. So there you go. Order it if you can, if your state allows you to get it, because locally, man, they definitely kill you with the prices. You're lucky swimming with the prices for Glendronach. If I ever get a chance to get back to Montreal, which is a glorious city, by the way, love Montreal. Went there with my family, stayed for a few days. Wish we didn't have to leave. Food is excellent. Wasn't in the Scotch when I was there, unfortunately. I wish I was, because I probably could have found a good Scotch bar in there somewhere. But I'll have to maybe pick up a bottle or two and try to bring it back. I'm not sure if they let me in with the come back to America. It'd be interesting. But too sweet to be a daily drinker. Yeah. Wow. This is very good. I am going to take a break with this one. You can tell a good whiskey to me by if you can take what I call a dime sip, which is, size of a dime. If you can take a dime sip of whiskey and get what you normally get out of a, mouthful, well, $50, American $50 size of whiskey, if you get the same experience, flavor, explosiveness, you've got something great. You've got something quality. That's the way this is, and that's just why I don't even need to drink, a whole lot of this to get all that experience, all that pleasure out of it. You don't need a whole lot. So we're gonna let that sit for a bit. I am gonna have that later after the show. Maybe still my ear if you guys are still hanging around. But I need to have a little palate cleanser here and take a look at this Airigh Beist, which I'm really excited. Finally, get my mouth on. I say it that way, but it's like any unicorn whiskey like that. Just I thought I was gonna have to like beg somebody from an auction just to get a taste of it. I had been keeping my eye on a couple of auctions here and there that offer that bottle. Not knowing about I'm glad you brought it up, Cato, about the 16, 17, 18 options. That makes a huge difference, really, when you're paying, 200 to 300 pounds for a bottle of whiskey. It's just crazy. And so you need to know, what you're really getting. So I really appreciate you coming out and letting us know what the differences between some of these things are. Because I just blindly thought 1990 was just the only difference. There wasn't really a difference between, other versions of this offering, which, as you said, is different. So, yep, using the old Whiskey Fest glass from 2018 here in DC. Can't wait to get up there in New York and hang out with you guys virtually. If you can make it to New York in December 4th, I'd love to meet up with you guys, have a dram, just shoot the shit if it's optional. If you can't make it, hopefully I can get enough with the phone, videos going on. I'll bring my computer with me and try to do at least a hotel, live feed with maybe one dummy, um, maybe somebody like Bob H or a KB or somebody that we usually see that doesn't have their own show already. Maybe kind of coerce them into getting involved with the whiskey fabric, whiskey tubers, whatever you want to call the community, I guess. I usually try to put them all up there so people from all sorts can join. All right, going to go binge on Castle Rock. Thanks a lot, Swami. I appreciate it. Good morning, Whiskey and a Beard. I like the name. Are you? I'm trying to remember. There was Bubba and the Beard at one point, and I know that this one fellow unfortunately lost a lot of his stuff, and everyone was pulling together to try to get some help for him because he was down and out for a bit. I'm hoping that he did okay. I haven't seen him or his channel. I'm not sure if you're affiliated with those guys, but if you are, let us know. And if not, welcome to the channel. And I appreciate you stopping by. Subscribe if you haven't done it already. Please give a thumbs up before you go if you don't mind. I appreciate it. Take care, Swami, and thanks so much for stopping by as always. Tom saying if you have at least G on your stream, you better hide the water. Thankfully, he doesn't in the face, in the flesh. He doesn't like give you a hard time as much. Maybe it's better and easier to deal with him, unless if he's on the phone or texting you or something, he might give you a little extra shit on the side. So, that's the funny thing. But no, he's a good guy. I'm trying to convince him that he might want to take a little more time adding a couple drops just to see. And I'm not talking teaspoons, tablespoons, and none of that bullshit. Just add a couple drops and see if it opens it up a little more. And I'm talking literal drops from an eyedropper, if you even want to use an eyedropper, or what I use is a little like a little pipe, and go from there. Donner's saying got this new glowing cast strength down to the shoulder, so now I can put it to bed for a few weeks to see what happens with some oxygen. Yeah. I'm glad you thought that they had a more of a medium mouth coat, because that's the only complaint I've ever had for Glengoynes was even the 18 seems a little thin to me, but cast strength makes me think, more, to it. So hopefully that helps it out. Whiskey and the Beer says he's not. Okay, that's cool, man. No problem. I haven't seen them around, so I wouldn't worry about the name or anything. It's just reminded me of them back in the day. It's been a little while since I've seen them around. By the way, I'll be on Multimag Cave tomorrow night at 10:30. All right, it's Salanchivala, Swami. I'll try to check you and Keith out tomorrow at 10:30, which is Saturday, I believe, right? So that's a good time to be on. Oh, nice. That'll be fun, Swami. Yep, I'm already reminders. You're right about water. Just ruined a dram of Pete. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. You got to be really, really careful about water with, especially peated whiskeys, Martin, and smoke. And this is why I think a lot of people, like Lee, unfortunately, shun away from the water at all, because they probably burn themselves by putting a little too much on and it killing a dram. And I have had that happen before when I first kind of started playing around with water, adding too much and wasting, even if it's just 1.5 ounces or 2 ounces, it's like, damn, don't ever want to mess with the whiskey. But if it's just a couple of drops, it's not going to really affect the ABV. It's not going to take, I think, too much of the peater smoke out. But if you are starting, I'll be honest with you, if you're starting out with a 40 to 43% ABV, that's a peated smoke whiskey, I do try to not even go there with water. It's not even worth it. But if you can start out 46, 48%, especially your 50s and up, you can play all day with it with just 1 or 2 drops. It's not going to kill it. Peat smoke, whatever. And I think that it definitely helps out bring notes that you like that you might not get off the regular deal. It might bring them up to the point where you enjoy the whiskey even more. Uh, or you also have whiskeys that have this weird note that you're kind of like, it's minerally, it's abrasive, it's too much sawdust or too much sourdough savory. I mean, it could be whatever is not really in your wheelhouse, and it might taper that down to the point where you get better notes that you do enjoy out of it, and you can go from there. So I'm all about adding 1 or 2 drops. You just can't, especially in DH and Steven's right. I mean, with sherry whiskeys, it's an art form. And not and also, and I'm sorry to just, I mean, I love talking whiskey, and I haven't even gone for a notes with this guy yet, but it, just the fact that you can take a great peated whiskey like a Bunnahabhain Choichek, or what's another one that's just peat, straightforward peat, Lagavulin 8, for example, right? You take a peated whiskey, you like it, it's a breakfast dram, it gets you where you want to go if you're in the mood for just straightforward young peat, right? Well, let's say, you're like, I want a little something extra. I want a little something better. I want to make it, I want to enhance it. And I don't want to do it to the whole damn bottle, but I do want to do it to my dram. So you get yourself a bottle of just PX sherry, Oloroso sherry, whatever sherry you like, if you like dry, acidic, salty, whatever. You take an eyedropper. I mean, literally an eyedropper, because if you try to do a spoon with this or anything other than the eyedrop, you're going to kill your whiskey, and you're going to be just as mad if you overwatered it. But if you take an eyedrop, you take PX or whatever kind of sherry you want, and you just put a drop, 2 drops, 3 drops maximum, into your peated Choichek Lagavulin 8, Agnac Cutter, whatever you are fancying. You put it in there and you go and experiment. You're going to find something you really, really like. It's going to open your eyes to what you can do just on your own to enhance your experience. It's part of the fun. And Cato's right. If you overwater, you just add more to the dram. And I have done that myself with a Kilkerran 12 is a good example of that. It is a whiskey that can handle a couple of drops. If you do overwater a little bit, just put your little, dash of the whiskey back, and it'll fix it. It's hard to fix sherry issues, though. If you do decide to put a drop or two of the sherry and you over sherry it, yeah, you can add some more whiskey to try to balance it, but it's not as easy dealing with sherry than it is with the water. Anyway, so let's go in for. I'm gonna need one more palate cleanser of water, because when you're dealing with peated whiskeys, it's really easy to get saturated with peat and intensity. So you gotta have to, try to even the playing field a little bit before you go from one peat to the next, even, because peat is not the same if you're in Ardbeg or if you're in Laphroaig or Amrut or wherever you are. The peat is always different. Never tastes the same to me, not even close. All right. Love that genuine color is what I would call it. This is a nice gold, and let's see if I mean, it does not run a little bit, just a little bit where it's supposed to. Nothing major. At least a medium mouth coat. It might not be heavy, but color can sometimes fool you with that. Oh wow. Oh, you get the first word that comes to mind with this is just overall balance. And when I say that, I mean that it's got it does have the peat, it does have the smoke, the trademark Ardbeg is there, but because of the age and because of um, the way it's done, it's like you get the whole spectrum on a very subtle level. You get a little bit of fruit, you get a little bit of floral notes, you get a little bit of the herbal notes, you get a little bit of like sweeter notes. It's and you even get like a sense of like if you took a. It's weird because it's like if you took a Japanese whiskey and peated it and aged it. That's what it reminds me of, like a almost. I hate to say it, I might be out of my mind, but it's got a hibiki, Hibiki. I think it's pronounced hibiki type of sense to it. 46%. You might add a drop, but I wouldn't touch it with such a. I mean, you could tell it's delicate, even though it's peated, smoked, great whiskey, powerful Ardbeg. It's got some really fine, delicate notes, I think, in the background. That's just my initial first nose wow, pow. But pow, it's almost like getting hit really hard with a straight jab, but also coming with the left and the right hook right after it in a flurry style to really kind of like disturb your sense of balance. It's just crazy. That's wild. Let's have a little drink here. Uh, I mean, you get everything from light floral, like roses, literal roses, to like lavender, along with the peat ride, and the smoke is subtle. The hay, the sawdust, the oaky, notes because that's coming from the cask, I'm sure. Hmm. No dankiness, no sulfur, nothing mineral or off-putting, which is. Yeah, this is like a surprise, really. That I mean, Ardbeg is known for a powerful, in-your-face, Mike Tyson kind of approach. This is like I'm trying to think of one of the most graceful boxers. It's kind of weird. I mean, Muhammad Ali was a freestyle boxer, light on his feet, fast when he needed to be, powerful at the same time. It's kind of like it really is. If you take something like the Ugadal or the Kordievrekin, and that's like a Mike Tyson. This is more like a Muhammad Ali, a little more maybe skill involved, maybe a little more different sides to the approach. It's hard to explain this. I'm just trying to think of a way. Yeah, if it was a bug, would it be a butterfly? Yeah, basically. If you took a hibiki and added a drop of Ardbeg, how close would that be? I guess it depends on what type of Ardbeg you added to the hibiki. I'm trying to think of where I would go because I have had the hibiki 21 a while back, and I can envision what that tastes like. But I'm just going by nose. I haven't even tasted this stuff yet. Just going by nose only. It would need something extremely subtle. Ardbeg is not known for its subtlety. The Ano is a sweeter, minty kind of dram. I don't detect mint in this, but the power of the Ano, I think, would be kind of in the same realm. The tin's pretty powerful. Um, I haven't tried the Air Verdis yet. I've heard that that's probably something that might be used with a hibiki that might get something close to this. But I'm thinking maybe Perpetuum. If you have an Ardbeg Perpetuum, I think that might be on par because that's more of a sweet, straightforward vanilla peated whiskey that's really similar to a Lagavulin 8. A Lagavulin 8 drop or two with a Hibiki 21 or 18 or whatever, 17, I'm sorry, or whatever year you've got. I think that would get you close to this if you had to try to get there. I don't know. It's a tough one. That's what I'm getting off the nose, at least. I thought Steven probably thinks I'm crazy, but I can't think of a different way to explain it. It's got really a nice Japanese delicateness with the peat smoke, and I'm sure the age is part of it, but it's just also, I'm sure, the way it's put together, with it being, the early 90s version of Ardbeg, which is completely different than what it's like today. No, the grooves is charred. That's not going to work. That's a little too intense from flavor. This Ardbeg that you would use with the Hibiki would have to be like a Lagavulin 8, and the closest thing I could think of is a Perpetuum. That's just me. God bless. This is a great nose, man. Steven, this is freaking fantastic. All right, man. Uh, I'm going to have to make sure this is sealed up. These are both sealed up really tight because I don't want to miss a drop of experiencing a nose, peat, anything out of any of these. Hope the palate delivers. Mm. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Wow. Jeez, my knees. Mm. I have to have a double take for that. Oh, it's the palate is just as graceful as the freaking nose. And it's just weird to experience this from an Ardbeg. Even the 23, and I've had the 23, and I will do a review on that at some point. That's even more of a Mike Tyson than this guy. This guy is, even with it, though it's not as aged, it's just the way it's done is so well balanced. I mean, there's more smoke on the 23. There's more fruit on the 23. I do love the flavor of it, but this has like, it's like listening to a great vocalist, right? And Frank Sinatra has got that classic, almost elegant sound that's still powerful, and that's what this is in a glass. You can also think of, like, I don't know, Freddie Mercury or Steven Tyler or some, pretty decent vocalist, and it might be a little more powerful, might be a little more raspy, it might be a little more, dynamic, maybe in some ways, but it still doesn't have that charm, that elegance, that refinement that other one has. And that's what this, I think, has that you can't get anywhere else, and that's what makes it so damn special. I mean, if you can nose a whiskey for 20 minutes and not even taste it and be enamored with it, you've already got to 4.5. You just got to find out if it's going to be a 5-star whiskey. I mean, damn, it's pretty. If it's not, it's pretty freaking close to it. It's so damn easy drinking, but the complexity of flavors is still there. That's what makes it special. It's got the white pepper, the typical vanillas, and the oakiness is there, the peat and the smoke, but Really nice fruit. I'm trying to think about the finish here. It's there. I'm trying to think if I'm missing anything. That's going to be the tough piece to the puzzle. Let me go up here. Really liking the Cloak here in 12. So good. Yeah, Donna, you're right. Was having that a little earlier tonight. Really well done. No water needed on this one, Telex. You're right, man. It's already there where you want it to be. I'm not sure if I would be afraid of touching it with water even at 46% because I don't think there's so many notes and they're so subtle if it's going to bring anything more to the table. Man, Virginia ham, for God's sakes. On the finish, I was trying to decide if it was chocolate. It's not chocolate. It's more of like a sassafras and maybe like a marshmallow. And I think that's reminiscent of that Japanese quality. It's got this really nice mouth coat to it. It's medium. It's not heavy. It is at least medium. And it does have a marshmallow slash almost like a sassafras root beer type of finish to it. And it's long. It's just so different than anything I've ever freaking had. And I mean anything. Nothing can touch this that I can remember, especially with being a delicate Ardbeg. It's just so mind-blowing in itself. I can see why now people think of this being one of the best Ardbegs ever done. I can see why. And wow, it's insane. I'm just going to try to catch up with some comments here. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just trying to get back here. Larry Holmes. Oh gosh, yeah, that's a blast from the past. Larry Holmes. I don't remember. I remember that name now, but I haven't heard that name in quite a while. Had this Octomore in this festival a couple weeks ago. Bottled by the rest. Thankful company. Huh. That one punched me right in the face. Interesting. Octomore. Do you know if it was a 7.1, 8.1, or one of the fancier casks like they do at 0.2, which is like one was like a French Syrah, one was something else, and the threes are even more experimental. They do some really experimental deals with their 0.3s. 0.1s are my favorite. I do love the 7.2, which is the French Syrah one. I have a 6.1 that's really good as well. 7.1 is really good. I'd like to see which one, Whiskey in the Beard, which one was that one you're talking about. I remember the first time I had the Beastie, I was in San Francisco bar, and it blew my mind. It was so good. I bought 2 cases the minute I got home. Cato, you had 2 cases of this? And if you had the 18-year-old, Jesus. I couldn't imagine that, man. 2 bottles of this stuff. I hope you kept a case. I'm sorry, 2 cases of this stuff. I hope you kept a case somewhere, and I will buy a bottle from you, my friend. I don't care what I have to do. I have to freaking drive to, I'm not sure where you are, Montana or Canada or wherever it is. This stuff is insanely good. DHS saying, grooves for me was all sweetness, almost no Ardbeg peat. DHS, yeah. It is sweet. I got a lot of Caribbean aspects to it, but I got a lot of bonfire smoke, and I guess I did get more smoke than peat, though. I do know the difference palate-wise from the peat and the smoke itself. I thought it was a smokier Scotch than a peated Scotch. So I'm with you on that, but I thought it was well done still. That charred barrel on the cask, I thought was really well done. I liked the flavors. It reminded me if you took a Belvini 14 Caribbean cask and smoked the hell out of it. That's what I thought the Grooves was like, but that's just me. Steven says, I did a side-by-side of this in the 23 with some friends and this one out. Yeah, this is got, it's the, I don't want to say class, but it's got this delicate, I don't have to hit you hard. I can just hit you in such a way where you're gonna freaking fall on the ground. That's what this has got going for it. It's hard to explain. It's the Audrey Hepburn of freaking whiskey. I don't know if any of you know who Audrey Hepburn was, but she was in a class of her own, old school actress, dead, just drop dead gorgeous. I don't. That's just my thing. But I think that this has got the extra that sets it apart from just a basic old whiskey. This is like it's in a class of its own. And I'm sure if I ever get a chance, and God willing, if I ever get a chance to try the Lord of the Isles from Ardbeg, this would be a similar experience. The only other one that I haven't tried, other than your typical Galileos and Supernovas, is they had an unpeated Ardbeg called the Kildalton. Now, I've got a Kildalton back here from 2014, that big bottle back there. They did one from 1980 that was unpeated. I would love to try it. Even though I don't like the Kalila unpeated series, I'm willing to give Isla another shot and try an unpeated one to see if it's any count. That would be one I would love to try, but it's a unicorn to the 40th power bottle. I don't know if I'll ever see it, so we'll see how that goes. Whiskey in the Beer says that Octomore head was a nephew from Allie and Tyson. Does that mean it? Do you not know which number it was, like 7.1 or 7.3 or 8.1, 8.3, that kind of thing? I'm just curious if you know what it was. We'll get back to that. Mo, it's good to see you, my friend. Thank you so much for all the love on Twitter, by the way. You getting the word out helps me out, so I really appreciate it. Anytime you share your the tweets or YouTube stuff that you like. Does the smoke carry throughout the palate into the finish on the Airigh Beist? So let's have another. That is where it could get interesting. Let's see. Still got that great smoke. Peat's still there. Smoke is still there. It's got this lovely, like I said, sassafras, root beer, marshmallowy, medium mouth coat finish, and it's long. I'd say the smoke is still there most, but the it's the root beer marshmallow is really the note that is the longest that stays to me. But I'm sure it's part of the smoke residual effect that's happening. And this all stems from the peat. So in a short answer, I'd say yes, that the smoke does carry throughout the palate into the finish. Is it anything like I've ever experienced before, like an Ugadal or a Corryvrecken? And no, any of even the Ardbeg or the Dark Cove, it's completely different than all of those. It's in a class all itself. That's excuse me. That's all I can really say on that one. It really does. Steven's right. Yeah. Whiskey and Beer says, it does not say in the bottle, but is a 7-year-old matured in a French oak cask. Check my Instagram page. Oh, okay. If it's 7 and French oak, I'm wondering if the 7.2. That's my guess is what you got. And that was my favorite Octomore I think I've ever had, even to this day. And I've had 6.1, 7.1, 7.3. 7.2. I'm trying to think if I have any other ones. I think 7.2 is probably my favorite. That might be the one you're talking about. But I had to see. It's an interesting bottle. If it only says 7-year matured in a French oak cask, it's very. If it's French Syrah, that's definitely 7.2. If it doesn't say Syrah, Syrah, I don't know quite what it is. Maybe it's 7.1. I have to go back and look at the notes on the 7.1 and see if that's just a French oak cask. Mo says, nice only if a bottle could be found. Yeah, it's really tough, man. Keto says the furnish is great. I spent a whole night just in one glass on one occasion. Yeah, and this is definitely going to be one of those nights that I'm going to savor every drop and definitely have another sitting with it on a special occasion. Steven, I can't think of enough to even go there, but I will get you that Lagavulin 18th of Shill out very soon. And I apologize for the delay. I've been dealing with some work issues that didn't pan out that I thought was going to pan out for me. Everything's okay. I can make do and get by and everything. So I've been kind of focused on getting through some just personal stuff, but we'll get there, and I'll definitely get you something out here this week and see where we can go with that. And Whiskey and Beers says, let's see, not already saw that one. DH says, I love the Peated, the Kalila unpeated I've had. I'd almost want them to stop peated whiskey and have Belvini pick up the peat slack created. DHS, you are in a class of your own, my friend. I still have a bottle of Kalila 17 unpeated back there. I can't even finish it. I'm not a fan at all of Kalila's unpeated. I do love their peated 12, 18 distillers edition, that kind of stuff. The Moke. I love that kind of stuff. I'm not down with the 17. Let's see how much I have left. I'm just curious because I've been sitting on this bottle for quite some. Whoa! I still have a pretty good amount of that left, and it's just not. That's just not my cup of tea, my friend. I don't know. It's I guess I love their peat, the way they do their, I even like the Port of Sag stuff, the Creative Whiskey Society stuff that they've done with Kalila. Kalila's really good about getting out and being experimental and stuff, but the unpeated, I just can't. I just don't really. It's just too olivey. It has very strong green and olive taste to it to me, with a lot of salt, and it just was so salty. I just can't hang with it. But that's just me. But if you like olivey, salty kind of dram, then it's definitely, I'm sure, up your alley. That's what I got off of it, though. But it's all subjective. You know how it goes. Whiskey and Beer says, I've tagged you in the specific post. Okay, thank you so much, man. Steven says, here's some notes I'm getting. Palate, lemon, vanilla, light honey, sweet peat, fresh herbs, finish, sweet peat, and like licorice. Now, this is something that's interesting. A lot of guys, I've noticed, get licorice off of a lot of whiskeys. And the funny thing is, I am not a licorice fan. I hate red and black licorice. Thankfully, I don't get it from this, but that, I think, your light licorice is my root beer sassafras marshmallow kind of finish. I think the licorice, though, is my root beer sassafras taste that I'm getting. Because I can see where someone could take that as a black licorice subtle finish. Black jelly bean, I should actually rather say, because I do like black jelly beans, and I can definitely get that out of the finish on that guy. Um, but thankfully for me, it doesn't go as bitter as a licorice, and that's why I don't like licorice very much, because I find it rather bitter. Um, Keto says that I like it too. I get machinist oil on the unspeeded Kalila. Really interesting stuff. Ooh, machinist oil? Jeez, man. Kato, you're a glutton for punishment, my friend. Wow, I might have to give you guys some Kalila 17 unpeated samples and trade salsa-wise. Maybe somehow. We'll have to see how that goes. Steven's saying that also like a nice charred wood note from the finish. Let me see. Yeah, the oak, the woody elements I do get. Char, I'm trying to see if I can dig that out. Yeah, I see where you're going, because it is reminiscent of a grooves as far as the charred aspect of it. Just overall, man, I mean, so many notes, so many ways you could look at that whiskey. I mean, that's another way you can tell, not just by you only need a dime, sip, and you can get 1,000 notes out of it. You don't. I mean, you could taste this and go on forever about all the little nuances, all the little things that you get out of it. It's beyond excellent. 5 out of 5, and that's saying something. I've only given that out maybe once or twice out of 200 drams that I've had. No joke. It's hard to make me extremely, extremely super duper happy. And that is one of the ones that actually does it, because it's got the best of both worlds. It's got that peat smoke, Ardbeg trademark greatness, but it also has the subtlety of a Japanese. It's got the smoothness of a marshmallow, but you also get all that oak, the charred, smoke, the honey baked ham, Virginia ham thing. You get floral and herbal notes. I mean, I could just keep going. It's just insanely good. Insane. Kato says, I'm sorry, let's see, we already did that one. Whiskey and Beer says that it could be a 7.2. Okay. I bet that's what it is the it's probably the 7.2 or 7.1. I have a feeling. Is that the only Kalila unpeated you've had? I've heard a lot of negative comments on the 17. DHS, you're right. It is the only unpeated Kalila I've had is the 17. I have seen the 15 available. Should I pick that up? I think I have also seen an 18 unpeated available. Which one is better, the 15, the 18? I've also seen the Stichel Reserve. I think someone just talked about that too. That's a possibility of maybe that might be an option. Which is the best or better Kalila unpeated versions you've had? The 17, yes, it's just so olivey, salty for me. I just can't get into it. I apologize. I tried. I even tried diluting it. I've tried mixing it, blending it. It's hard to make that one work out. I think the one that helps the most with that is some sherry for me. Some PX sweetness, I think, will bring out some goodness for me on the 17 unpeated. But Lois says, sounds like a vanilla and anise combination for licorice. Yeah. I do get the vanilla, the anise. I mean, there's spices on this Airigh Beist, but the problem is for me is I get more of a white pepper. I don't get black pepper. I don't get a lot of other spices. I don't get any nutmeg, Chinese 5-spice, allspice. I don't get sandalwood. I don't get anything else other than but a really nice white pepper type of spicy note from it. Not to say it's not there, but that's just what I wasn't getting. I think that's why I'm not getting the licorice. I'm getting more of that root beer sassafras to a marshmallow. And for me, that's perfect. I'm not gonna bitch about any of that stuff. Let's see. Hey Hoagie, good to see you, my friend. I'm glad you stopped by. Yeah, I'm a little late for my time tonight, but I figure, what the hell? It's is it Friday? I think it's Friday, and here at least Saturday, probably where you are. And I figure, what the hell? Let's have a few drams. And Steven was very gracious with. I just did the Airigh Beist from Ardbeg in 1990, a 16-year-old whiskey, and my goodness, golly gosh, it's freaking amazing. Hoagie, have you ever had a chance to have the Airigh Beist? I'm really curious on what you thought. Katie was telling me there's a 16, 17, 18 version of it. This was, I think it was a 16, and it was superb. Already a 5 out of 5. I can't imagine it being any better. Cato can attest that there's probably a little bit of a better experience from even the 18, which is I can't contemplate that, but hopefully you've had something else like that. Whiskey in the Beard says it tasted pretty much the same. I think he's referring to the Octomore, maybe? I think so. I could be wrong. DHS saying 15 gets great reviews is touchy, pricey. Really comes down to price. DHS, stand by. QRX, as we radio operators say. QRX for 1 second there, my friend. Kalila, let's look for the 15 unpeated. They have it. Yeah, okay, here's the deal, which I thought was funny. And this is why I went for the 17. Their 17 unpeated price is $169.98, basically around $170. Their 15 is only $10 less, though, at $159.98. Now, please tell me, is $159.98 a respectable price for 15 unpeated? If it is, I'll take a shot at it out of my better judgment, because I did not enjoy the 17 unpeated very much. But if you think that the 15 unpeated at 160, we'll say, is a decent enough price, I'll jump on it. If not, I'll try to do a better job of finding a better price. But we'll see what we think here. Hoagie says, "Yep, nights don't work out well anymore lately." Yeah. It's I'm good that it's good that I did a late night sit down with you then there, Hoagie. Katos is just my preference for let's see, what was he referring to? The sample of the 17 or maybe the 15 he was talking about. Kato, do you like the 17 unpeated Kalila or the 15 unpeated Kalila better? Let me know if you don't mind. 190 is freaking through the roof high. Stitchel Reserve, I did not see that at this particular place. I saw that online somewhere. I have to do some digging to find that price for you. I'll do it at a different time. Write me at telex@outlook.com, TELEX@outlook.com, and we can discuss some ways to maybe find that Stitchel Reserve somewhere for a better price. I had to look and see where I found it before. Yeah, Kato's right, man. It's expensive. Yeah, it's a 12 unpeated. Jesus, I didn't even know they had a 12 unpeated. I know they had a 15 and 17. 12 unpeated. Where have I seen the 12 unpeated? I'm trying to think if I've ever seen it before. Oh, man, that's a tough one. I don't think I've seen that. I'll have to look and see. DHS be paid for 115 for the Stitchel. Excuse me about it again. I'll have to look and see if I can find it. Hoagie says, no, but I haven't had the Airigh. As far as I can remember, it would have been around when I started. They're probably too expensive back then, but bought a bottle of the Almost There in 2008, which was to my liking. Yeah. That would be nice to try. I bet that's a peaty beast, man. Almost There, because it's like a really young Ardbeg, not quite 10, probably an 8-year-old. I'm guessing. That's my take. I'd like to try it. Never had it Almost There, very young, any of the Renaissance type of offerings, but that is on my radar at some point. Kiddo says, damn, whiskey's getting to be an absurd hobby. I hear you, man. It's rough. He likes the 12. Jesus paid. Okay, we saw that one. The nose is of this. It's just so good. Yeah, I'm going to have to pour me another glass of that at some point. But I still have a lot of your Amrut Bengal Tiger port pipe, peated port pipe, 56.5 of one of 480 bottles. I'm still enjoying. So I think I want to come back to this one and see what we can get. But yeah, you're right. That unfortunately, the Airigh Beist did not last very long, as you can tell. Thankfully, I still have a half of that sample left, but I'm going to cherish that puppy, and because there's no way I'll probably ever find a bottle of that. Hoagie says, I can remember the 2018 Lagavulin 12 more intense than last year's, which was too tame for a 12 cast strength in my book. Interestingly, that you mentioned that, Hoagie, I'm trying to remember. I think the one I had was even older. Let's see, Lagavulin. It was a 12 cast strength. I want to say the one I had was 2016, maybe. Let's see if that's the case. I had a couple different ones. Yeah. My first cast strength Lagavulin was a 12-year-old 2016, and it was far from disappointing. You could smell it across the room. It had the peat smoke. It wasn't as earthy and smoky as the 16, but it wasn't like a letdown either. Let me see if I can find any of the notes in the 2016 that I had. I don't like the way distiller, like, they used to make it pretty easy to find the notes you already put on something. Here we go. Again, a touch of light fruits and a smooth malt, some ash qualities to it, not at all off-putting. A very, very nice glass. I enjoyed more than the Lafroig 10 cast strength. Pricey, though, if you can find it still. I did a re-review of a bottle, and even having more experience going back to it. I mean, it's weird. I got like cotton candy, bananas, and bubble gum off of the nose, which was sweet and strange to me. But a lot of other people got a similar vibe off of it. It seems like the palate was intense. It brought tropical coconuts and pineapple, very sweet with cream and the peat. The finish from the cast strength goes on forever, and I love it. Still a solid 4.75. The only thing I could think of is to add is some sherry or maybe some spicier notes, but I'm quite content. And the theme to the dram was a powerhouse. I'm thinking Bonded by Blood about Exodus, which was one of my favorite thrash metal bands from the early 80s San Francisco Bay Area type of sound. And Bonded by Blood is one of the best songs ever. And it has that strength and power that the Lagavulin 12 cast strength I thought brought. That was solid. I tried to find a newer version of 2017 at the time, and I don't think I was able to get it. And I think they already have a 2018 out. Like, yeah, they have a 2018 out now. So I missed the 2017 that Hoagie was talking about being, I think, a little bit under the radar on the being too tame. So I'm actually kind of glad I missed the 2017 version. 2018 is more intense, so that's a good sign. Hopefully, if I find another bottle, I'll skip the 2017 and go straight to the 2018. because Hoagie's got good taste. Kato says maybe don't make the 12 unpeated anymore. It was several years ago. Had to look into that. Maybe I can be lucky. Let's take a look and see if we can find. Now that we're on it, let's see if we can find Kalila 12 and see. There's the 12 year that we all know, the Distiller's Edition, 15 unpeated, a natural cast strength, a 12-year Fischl 2017, an 18-year unpeated, a 14-year unpeated special release from 2012, 2015 special release of 17, a 10-year Fischl of this year. Maybe it was an independent bottle of a 12-year. Unless you're thinking of, maybe you're mistaking it with the Flora and Fauna, which would be a 15. But that is peated, never mind. Unless the 12-year-old Fischl from 2017, unless that's unpeated, I can't think of a 12-year-old unpeated. That would be tough to find there. I think Cato had to let me know if it's independent or a regular distillery thing. If it's distillery, it might be a rare one. Let's see. Hey, Fred Hansen, good to see you. Cheers. Thanks for stopping by. I know it's late. I appreciate you coming by. Fred, are you from Norway by chance? That might be why you're able to join us so late here in America. Oh my God, it's Mark Broda. Mark, good to see you, man. I can't believe you're still functional after all that good whiskey you guys had earlier. My goodness. What in the wide world of sports is going on around here? Well, I labeled this video as being a Cardew 18 and a Lefroy hand-filled cask from Aquavitae, but good friend Stephen Connor was gracious enough to send an Ardbeg Airigh Beist and 46% ABV, a 16-year-old from 1990, and an Amrut Bengal Tiger, a ported port pipe, 56.5, one of 480 bottles of that, and that's what we're sipping, and just having a good good fun. Thanks for stopping by, Brad. Really appreciate it. Let me get back to some earlier comments that I was missing. Oh my goodness. Maybe don't meet that. Okay, gotta go. Until next time, whiskey and a beer. Good. Thanks for stopping by, my friend. I appreciate it. Most chances. So Kalila 17 at 120 or a Lagavulin 12 at same price. Oh, most Chun, I would highly recommend the Lagavulin 12. That's my opinion. I put the Lagavulin 12 up here, the Kalila 17 down here. That's just my preference. Some of these guys like the unpeated Kalila. The 17, though, does not do that well. So I would probably skip it, go with the Kalila 15 unpeated, and see what you get by that. That one seems to be more well-regarded than the 17. That's what the word is on the street, it sounds like. DHS says, get the Lagavulin 12 as well, yes. Yes, this was an OB. It was 8 years ago. Easy though. That's a distillery bottle, I think. Original bottle. He's saying. I still have a few around. Wow. Cato. Geez. All right. Well, we might have to trade a bottle, my friend. Kalila 12 unpeated might be good. I don't know. That's a gamble for me because I really did not like that 17, but I have to see about that. Hoagie says, well, for some, Roy, the 17 12 was pretty much whiskey of the year. He likes the creaminess for Jimenez, etc., but I need it a little more exciting with bold power and more brininess since the 2018. Yeah, that's the tough thing, Hoagie, is that balance of power versus the notes themselves. that is what's great about the Airigh and Beist is it does have the power, but it does also has that refinement and the broad notes you get out of it. That's a tough one. Park's a zombie. Well, I'm glad you're hanging out. Trying to call it a night and found out Texas live can't stop now. There you go. Fred is from Norway. The clock is 8:08 local time. Wow. Well, it's probably early. That means it's 8:08 a.m. your time, Fred. But hopefully it's never too early for a dram. If it is, I don't fault you. I can't, But talk fascist, right? Talk fascist. Is that how you guys say it? Oh man, I wish I knew my. It's been a while since I've tried to snacka Norsk, but I do love the. I've never been there, but I just love the way Scandinavia feels. It's like Scotland. The Northern European countries just have this mystique feeling about them. Maybe because my people are from there. I know I'm Scottish, Irish, probably Scandinavian in some aspects, German, French, but I don't know. It's something about the language, the people. It's got a purity to it. It's hard to explain. It's just weird, but I'd love to go to Bergen, Oslo, of course, and just hang out. Iceland too, Reykjavik, and Stockholm, maybe in Sweden, Helsinki in Finland. That'd be a hell of an awesome trip. But definitely got to stop off in Scotland for an Isla visit before I get there. That's going to be my dream, maybe retirement trip, but we'll have to see. Yeah, I am an American. That's true. Yeah, probably some Native American there somewhere too. Probably not much, but enough to make a mark. Probably a lot more than some people. I'm not going to go into politics, but I think some of you Americans know what I'm talking about. Oh, Lordy. Good smoky whiskey. Lecheg, yeah. Lecheg is, that's a really good one. I love the 10. Pure peat, boldness, powerful. And that 18 way over there, Lecheg 18 is glorious. Sherried peat, very well done. Broad spectrum of flavor, well-rounded. It's definitely a four. I can't remember what I rated it, but it's definitely a 4 to 5 whiskey. I'd say that's a good one. That's only 2 Lechegs I've had so far, is the regular 10 and the 18. Oh, you are in Bergen or Bergen. I'm not sure if it's a soft G or hard G, but that's good to meet you, Fred. Yeah, Mark Broda is the Scotch whore. I have to unedit his comments because for some reason they edit out the word whore here. You can't censor the whore though. Oh man, and Kato's like, yeah, we're all months. A bit different. I'm pretty tore up. A lot of good whiskey out tonight. Yeah, Mark, I bet you are. Mark, have you had any Amrut? Now, I've been lucky enough to have a buddy that sent me some Amrut rye, Indian rye. That stuff is off the chain good. It was pretty good. And I had some rye whiskey, the Midsummer Night's Drams, the High West stuff. This stuff is on par. It's solid. No dill, nice flavor, smooth, powerful, refined. I could go on and on about it. And then good buddy, new friend Steven sent this Amrut Bengal Tiger peated port pipe, and this is on par with the Laphroaig Bordeaux. You got to get Andrew on a Laphroaig Bordeaux or the Portwood Carriages 2013. Probably hard as hell to find, but I think you could find overseas easily via Whiskey Exchange, Master of Malt. One of the places I hope that delivers to Indiana. I'm not sure how your all's the shipping laws are, but if you could get the Laphroaig Bordeaux, or the Amrut Bengal Tiger the peated port pipe here, I think he'd be in heaven. I really do. Christmas time is coming up. Get Andrew something decent. Mm. Wow. Better with oxidation too. Hot at 56.5, but I think we might have to add this a couple of drops. I mean, it's good. It's powerful. It's great neat. I have enjoyed it neat earlier too, but I'm just talking like a drop, a little, drop or two, just to smooth out the edges a little bit. Wow, I mean, you get some really nice herbal notes even with this the peated port pipe, I should say. Some rosemary basils even in there, on the palate even. Not bad. Oh man. Oh my God, you guys were having way too much fun in Kansas. Yeah, I think Moses on to something there. That's true. I was getting jealous. I was like, I got to do a show because these guys were having way too much freaking fun. I just want to have a dram or two of the easier to get Amruts other than Fusion. Any recommendations? I can't personally say because I've only had the rye and this peated port pipe, I should say. I have not had a bad one yet. I'm trying to think if I've had the Fusion. You've said other than the Fusion. That's a tough one, man. From what they've got here, their prices are very reasonable. It looks like their higher end stuff is like 130-ish. They've got the intermediate sherry. Sounds intriguing itself because I love a sherry. Kadhambam, Kadhambam. I don't know what's in that, but it's 130. That's probably pretty darn good. Naranji or Narangi, single malt. That looks pretty good at the same price, 130. I'd say that the Two Continents single malt is also 110. Those sound intriguing. Now, just speaking from the two Amruts I've had, I would definitely take a chance on a 1 to 130 bottle and not be scared to take the chance. I'm more of a Scotch guy. This is the first time I've really done a video even on a non-Scotch that I can think of. I only did it out of respect to Steven because he sent both the Ardbeg Airigh and Beist, which I am familiar with the type of whiskey, as well as since I had the right trying the Amrut. I did out of respect because he sent both, and I wanted to make sure that I took a good hard look at this, and I'm glad I did. It might not be Scotch, but it's definitely, if not on par, it's definitely higher par than a lot of Scotch I've ever had. So even though it's an Indian malt, I definitely would not think of that as being any sort of downfall, any sort of crutch, or any sort of quality difference. It's actually better than a lot of Scotches I've had, and I've had over 200 different drams. So. Wow, I'm not saying something. Thanks so much for stopping by, Hoagie. I really appreciate it. Going back up here to some older comments. Steven says the intermediate sherry and good for the price. Yeah. Ooh, and they have a Madeira limited edition. Oh, but that's good. I love a Madeira cask. Oh, Lordy. Lafroig Madeira carriage is one of my favorites. That's really good. Y'all should be here. Mark says, I wish I could be, man. I'm going to see you guys in New York, Mark. So I'm definitely going to have a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys have time for me to hang out and maybe do a show with you guys. I'd love to have like an interview show with you. Enjoy it. I'll bring a bottle, maybe share it with you guys unopened. We can all, you four guys and myself, we can all get a dram out of it. I'll try to make it something special. I have an idea, Mark. I don't know if I can pull it off. I'm thinking, Mark, if you guys are good, I might bring a Creative Whiskey Company cast strength Highland Park 25 offering. I might. It's a little pricey, but I might pull the trigger. And for, New York, I think it's something special to try. Creative Whiskey Society, if you guys have not already known, unfortunately have been bought by a Japanese distillery. I talked about that on one of my shows in the recent past, and I have good intel that they might change a lot of things in the way that they do their whiskeys, which has a significant impact on the American market, which is sad because Creative Whiskey Company, CWC, is very well done, very good stuff. But this is a cast strength Highland Park 25. I think I can get it for about $325. This is much cheaper than a regular Highland Park 25, which runs about $500. But my boy, who has the intel and knows the ins and outs of Creative Whiskey Company, has tried it, has liked it better than the standard Highland Park 25. So that's saying something. So we're going to have some fun. Yeah, cast strength HP 25. I don't think you can get a hell of a lot much better than that. We'll have to see. That's my goal. I'm going to try. Don't be mad if I have to pull out something else, but that's my goal, and I don't think we'll ever see that bottle again, sadly. And as Mark knows, because the Scotch for Dummies were the guys that got me into CWC, that got me in the Creative Whiskey Company, because they had a Lagavulin 8 cast strength and a sister cask to that later on. It was similar but a different cask, and I was able somehow miraculously to try both, and they were both excellent. I mean, damn, they were damn good. And Mark probably remembers that bottle because we were all trying to figure out what was the distillery, what was the year, what was the make, and I think everyone figured out after dealing with I forgot their guy's name. He does all their picks. I'm gonna say David something, but I'm sure I'm butchering his name. But there's a guy that picks all their casks. I can't remember his name, but I could tell that he had a knack for doing it justice. Lagavulin's already a good distillery, but I've had some independent bottlings from distilleries that are good that were not so good on the offering. So yeah, David Stark, that's who it was. He has a knack, and sadly, a Japanese company. I don't know who it was. He didn't specify if it had to do with Beam Suntory, as far as, like, I know they're affiliated with I can't remember if it was Nika or somebody, but or one of those like old school Ichibu or oh my, Yamazaki, one of those companies. But it was definitely a Japanese distillery bought the entire company recently. So damn. So if you ever see a CWC offering at a place, I would buy it if you've been kind of waiting. I think it's the time to take a stand and get it, because it won't be around much longer, unfortunately, I have a feeling. Hopefully David did well with this acquisition. I don't know what's going to happen, if he's going to work with the distillery, what they're going to do with it. Typically when Japanese get involved with distilleries, they take it away from the American market. They do something completely different with something local to Japan. So we'll have to see how that pans out. Hopefully it's something different than what usually happens, but my guy was kind of like sad because these guys have, I mean, CWC offerings out the yin yang. The place I go, just to give you an idea of what, just these guys have that they deal with. Exclusive malts is what they've got. Everything from let's see, I'm just going to read off a quick list here. Dalmore 15, Altavania, Ardmore 2000, Othrosk, Balmanock 13, a Benrinus 20, a Clynelish 21. I would love to get my hands on that. Craigaliki, a Croftonig, a Deanston 1997, Glenelgin 21, a Highland Park 25, the one I was talking about, Glenn's cast strength, Invergordon 1973, that's a grain. An Irish whiskey from 2003, I guess it's one of those untold distilleries. An Isla from 2007, probably Lagavulin or Lafroig. Milton Duff from 14 years, Orkney 17 year, which tells me it's Highland Park probably. A Speyside from 03, a Strathclyde 26 year, and a Dalmore from 1996. A Highland Peated region in the Speyside regional. So they have a lot of CWC bottles, as you can tell, and that's just the CWC stuff, not even going anywhere else. So I'm like, wow, man, if they had that many, and it's going to be a little different. Kiddo met David several years ago when he was just starting out and visited a local whiskey store, favorite of mine, super guy. Some of those older bottlers are fantastic. My favorite being the Little Mill 25. Wow. I haven't all the cast that CWC has in stock. That's a good question. Thanks a lot, Stephen, for stopping by. Thanks for making it this long. This has been a long show. It's been a special show, special one of the kind show. And I had to give props to Stephen for that. Thank you so much, my friend. I owe you one, and hope to get that out to you very soon. I'm sorry for the delay. But yeah, it's a good question, and that's what I'm afraid of. Typically, when the Japanese distilleries take over, it's going to be they're not going to let us partake in it. It'll probably be used for their own Japanese push, which really makes me sad. So hopefully I'm wrong, but that typically is what happens. Mark says, okay, guys, Drew's passed out with this white noise machine. All right. Well, thanks for so much for stopping by. I appreciate it, Mark. I know you guys had a long day. I can't wait to see you guys in New York with Bob H. and KB. That's going to be awesome. I'm going to bring at least a bottle or two with me on the train, ride it up. I've got a place to stay in the same place you guys are staying, I think, and hopefully we can do a live show beforehand. Might be the best deal if I get there early enough. You guys are already there. Hopefully we can pull out an early show, have a break, get some food, then go to the Whiskey Fest and do our own thing for a while. Meet up after the fact to have maybe even an after show if we can pull it off, or you guys can have one, whatever it takes. That'll be fun, I think. That's hilarious, though. Both whiskeys are excellent. The Amrut Bengal Tiger is definitely more intense. Definitely great port pipe flavor, reminiscent of the Brodeer. Ardbeg Airigh Beist, though, is like in a league of its own. One of the best whiskeys I've ever had, if not the best. 5 out of 5. Can't fault it. Wouldn't touch it with a water with a 10-foot pole. And we'll have to leave it at that, really, I think. And sorry for mixing it up. I know I labeled this Cardio 18 and the little Freud hand filled from Upwards BT, but we'll do that show next. And maybe I'll be able to time it with Roy when he can maybe be on with me or something. I'll have to figure out something. Maybe I'll have to write to him and see if there's a way to do it. Well, thanks so much, Cato, DHS. And well, hell, a 10-foot pole worth of water would try to. Well, I mean, you know what I mean. It's this expression: touch it with a 10-foot pole, distance-wise, not quantity-wise. But you know what I'm trying to say. Come on. But thanks so much for stopping by. It's been fun. I can't believe it's 2:30. Jesus. But I'm still going to go. I might have another couple of drams. What the hell? Thanks for stopping by, Ryan. Good to see you. Anybody else that's still sticking around? And yeah, we'll get to the Cardew 18 and Lefroy Canfield next show, and I'll try to time something out. Well, Sylvain Chava, and have a good one.